Hello, everybody. I'm Bo Kaufman with Remax Performance Realty, residential real estate agent, and I'm here with two friends of mine, Mike Cabral and Sandy Heinen of Dominion Lending Centers, the mortgage brokers. And today we're going to have a bit of a discussion about buying or selling a house while you're going through a divorce. Not a happy time, but it's a reality. And we're going to throw out a couple of different scenarios and some advice for people that are going through these difficult times. So say hello to Mike Cabral.
Thanks, Bo, for having me on. My name is Mike 𝗀𝗀𝘀. I am a mortgage broker, and I'm here to bring as much information and help my client out as much as possible. And I have my partner here.
Sandy.
Hi, I'm Sandy Heinen. Yeah, Mike and I work together.
Okay, and Sandy, actually, you've only been with Dominion for a couple of years, but you've been in the mortgage industry for how long?
A long time, about 18 years.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
That's an amazing. Most people can't even stay something that long for 1 year. That's amazing, Sandy.
Yeah, it is. Okay. For myself, I'm a retired police officer, so on this subject here, I've got a lot of personal experience dealing with different marriage breakups. I'm still working on my first one, thank God. But you know, the reality is, I think they say 50% of marriages end in divorce, and then if you own a house and you have kids and stuff like that, so it's a difficult time. So I've been a real estate agent for 15 years. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how people normally go about the business of, let's say they have a house in Transcona or in St. Vital worth $350,000. And what do they normally do? Well, normally one of them will call a real estate agent with the idea of perhaps buying the other party out. And that real estate agent will come there and give them an appraisal or an estimation of value. And it's kind of funny because when they call, you can always tell what that homeowner wants to do. If he wants to buy people out, he's going to point out every flaw in the house. It's going to be, this faucet has been dripping for years, and the smell in this room here is the cat's. She won't clean it up, that kind of stuff. So it's it's true because that person wants to come in low.
Yep.
The problem is when you do that and you bring them the assessment, the other party will say, well, wait a minute, this isn't realistic. They'll call their own agent. And now the whole house becomes the Taj Mahal. It's the complete different, right? So it's, look at these curtains are brand new and this dishwasher is the top of the line. So all of a sudden that $350,000 house becomes $380,000. So my advice is don't do that. If you can manage at all, get together and call one real estate agent, sit down with them, lay the cards on the table and say, this is what we're looking at doing. We don't know if either party can buy the other one out, but we need an honest assessment, not skewed one way or the other, an honest assessment on what the house is worth. And that's what I would recommend people do, if it's all possible.
So Bo, what would you think people should do if they don't like your evaluation?
Well, if one party says that's too high, the other one party says that's too low, then maybe it's just right. If they both feel it's too high or too low, that's not usually the case, but then I would call for an independent appraiser. Either ask your lender for advice or ask the realtor, myself, to put forth an independent appraiser that's going to do the full appraisal, but that's going to cost you, you're more experienced in this, $300-400. What's an appraisal worth?
No, you're correct. About $300-400. What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah, I was going to say around 300 at least, depending on location.
Definitely.
And size of the house and all that kind of stuff. So keep in mind, realtors are not generally appraisers. And that's why when you look at the newspaper, it's like, I offer free market evaluation. That's a little different. But for these purposes, it might just be good enough. And like I said, if neither party is super happy with it, that's probably because it's right accurate. One wants to come in low, one wants to come in high. So if you agree with the assessment or the market evaluation, then I would say go to see Mike and Sandy and see what you can do with those numbers.
I would definitely agree with you on that, Bo. So once they have gotten the appraisal and your market evaluation, one of the two, we would sit down with them and we would ask them what they want to do. So do they want to refinance their home? to pay out the other person if there's enough equity in there. We would want to see if they want to have a spousal buyout. And then we would just ask them what their future plans are and what they want to do when it comes to purchasing a home and or refinancing the home. So when it comes to that, so one tidbit for people that are going through divorce is if you are going to be purchasing another home, and let's say you're going to have RSPs coming from the separation and or the divorce, you can actually qualify for a first-time home buyer again with up to $35,000 of the RSPs that you can use to purchase that home. You can also use for your legal costs, your closing costs, and also if you have any outstanding debts, you can also use that. But you do have to remember, you have to pay this back in 15 years, and the first 2 years is a grace period. So I highly recommend, if you're going to be doing this, talk to your accountant to see how much you have to pay every year, because there is a formula that needs to be put in place.
Right.
So this is one thing that they can help them get into that home.
That's actually really good information. I didn't know that before we started this, that even if you've owned a house together, so let's say it's a husband and wife and they're both on title, and one buys the other out, the one that's being bought out can now be considered a first-time home buyer.
Correct. Yes, that is true. And that is considered with the first-time home buyer. They can use the benefit of the RSPs up to $35,000.
What if they both decide not to keep the house? Let's say they both decide to put the house on the market. Would they then both be first-time home buyers?
Yeah, because there's a separation agreement in place.
Okay.
So that they're considered that their relationship dissolved. So now they requalify for that, even if they've had this house for only 2 years or 3 years or 10 or 15 years.
Okay. You mentioned separation agreement a couple of times. Sandy, what kind of stuff are you looking for inside that agreement?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the main things that we're going to need in order to do the lending is a separation agreement, and it's going to have to be signed by both parties. When we look at it, we're going to want to see the breakdown of your assets and liabilities. We want to see who's going to be taking on what debt, because we're going to have to use those payments in the qualifying of the new application. We're also going to look at if you're going to be receiving child support or paying child support, or you're going to be getting like spousal support. That's also something that we're going to look at just to be able to qualify you for your new home.
Okay.
Do you think of anything else, Mike?
Maybe putting the debts in there, make sure that the debts are outlined properly on how they're being divided. That needs to be for sure in there if we want to put it in a spousal buyout, and we're going to be including that into the purchase from the other party.
Yeah, that's probably about it, though.
The timeline would be for a couple to first call one agent to see what the possible market value would be for the house. If they're happy with that, take that information to the lender. If they're not happy, get an appraisal from an independent appraiser. The other bit of advice I have is that if you do decide to put the house on the market, again, get one agent. Don't get two. Sometimes, I mean, I understand things can get really, really hectic, really kind of acrimonious, but you don't want to have two signs on your lawn that tells the whole world what's going on, that you can't even agree on an agent. And that's not good for selling your property. So pick one agent and go with that.
Another thing I want to add to that is if they're going to be going through a spousal buyout, they also should account for closing costs of their mortgage, because it's just like buying another home. Even though you are on title, there is some legal fees that have to come with it to purchase that home again. So that they should be aware of that when it comes to that. Also, they might also ask for an appraisal just up front, just to make sure that the property that they're buying is worth what they're paying for.
And if they're both selling, then it becomes a problem too, is how much time is left on their current mortgage. Is there going to be penalties and stuff like that? So those are all things that you can help them figure out.
100%. And they should definitely, if they're planning on selling and they have, I don't know, they took a 5-year term at that time, they should, and they're 3 years in, they should definitely look into the penalty, because you don't want to be shocked into having $11,000, $12,000, $15,000 penalty, which there is out there, especially if you've gone to a major bank, because the way they qualify the penalty or calculate the penalty, it can be a lot higher for them.
No, I've had that happen. I've had a couple buy a house and they wanted to get out, and their penalty was going to be $10,000, and it's one of the major banks. And it really happens, especially in a time when interest rates are dropping, because they might have signed up at 3.5%. Now people get 3%, and the bank wants to make up that difference that they're going to lose. So
yeah, and that's correct what you're saying there, Bo. Major banks, they have their posted rate, and then they discount the rate to, let's say you had 3% or 3.5%, and right now the post rate is at 5.04. They're going to actually discount you whatever the difference is to get you to 3.5, which is now that's how they're calculating your penalty through the calculation of interest rate differential.
Wow.
And it really hurts people, and you don't ever think of these things because you're emotionally attached to this purchase, and you're so excited that when things happen that you weren't accounted for, the logic comes in, and so does the calculation. And that's why I really truly believe you should know all the facts before purchasing that home.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I think we're pretty good at this point.
Sandy's good?
Yeah.
I'm good. I just say make sure you talk to the agent. First of all, make sure you have a separation agreement in place, because us as mortgage brokers, Sandy and I, that we definitely need that document up front. And make sure you guys can, whoever is getting divorced or separated, it's a lot cheaper to come to
amicable.
Yeah, an amicable decision, because it saves you a whole bunch of money, because you shouldn't have to be paying big amount of money for a whole bunch of emails from your lawyers to be sent back and forth.
And just to be clear, this mortgage agreement, whatever, you said mortgage brokers, it's not just, this is not specific to mortgage brokers. Banks will ask for it. Credit unions will ask for it. That's right. Everybody. So it's not something, it's not a disadvantage. I mean, I like dealing with mortgage brokers for a lot of reasons. So you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Bo. You're pretty damn awesome too.
All right, guys. Well, good job. And if anybody has any questions, my name is Bo Kaufman. My cell number direct is 204-333-2202. Mike and Sandy, go ahead. Give us your information.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, I'm Sandy Heinen, and my phone number is 204-996-6046.
And I'm Michael Cabral. My number is 204-997-5021. And we're always here to help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
I truly hope that you found this information helpful. Please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and also hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified of any new information we post. If you like listening to audio podcasts, please check for Bo Knows Real Estate on all major podcast players. And if you're looking to buy or sell, house or a condo in Winnipeg, please call or text me anytime at 204-333-2202. This has been Bo Kaufman of RE/MAX Performance Realty. Till next time, bye-bye.